going to do is I'm going to break this lesson up into smaller pieces, so it's going to be a little bit shorter. We're going to focus just on the first A section of Alice in Wonderland. The reason I'm doing this is couple-fold. One is that the chords are pretty intense. There's some big two-handed chords, and if you're not used to that, it's going to take a little while to move in between those chords. Two, I want to give you something a little bit more bite-sized that you can get down within a week or two, so that the next time I put up the next part of this lesson, you'll be ready to go. Okay, so I'll make sure that it's not going to be too long before you get the next part of this lesson as well. All right, so you notice what we have here is we have the 13, 14, 15, 16 measures here, all right? And we're in 3/4 time. That's the other reason that I'm going to break this up, because we haven't done as much 3/4 work as we have 4/4 work. Now I have a play-along track here that you can download and play along with the band, and this will be helpful to you so that you can kind of keep your place. I'll also make sure that there is a MIDI file of the bass and drum track, and that will also help you. You can slow that down. All right, so let me go through the chords measure by measure. All right, so you get all the notes, and then we'll talk about how to play them along with the band. And also, the request was to put in the fills and stuff, and I'll actually get to that a little bit later as well. So here we go. D minor, two-handed chord voicing. Notice we have the root and 11th in the left hand, and then 7, 9, 11. You'll also notice that often I am trying to put the melody in as a top note in the right hand. That's kind of a good practice to get into if you can do it. It's not all, you're not required to do that. You don't always have to do that, but it's a good practice so that your comping coincides nicely along with the melody. All right. So when you hear someone comping, it shouldn't sound like they're playing the melody per se, but it should sound like, oh yeah, I can hear that melody. You should be able to easily hear that melody over the top of it. If I'm doing stuff like, it's like, whoa, man, those chords are like really out there, all right? So if I'm doing stuff like that, let me turn this up before that's too low. So if I do that kind of stuff, it's going to sound too far out. So this is why I bring the melody in as my top note of the comping whenever I can, not all the time. So here we go. We have it here. Here it is not, because the melody jumps up to the G, right? So here I'm playing the A. That's okay. Have the 7th and the root in the left hand, 3, 13, 9. And now I go to a tritone substitution, right? So now I'm not always going to be doing these substitutions. I'm considering right now that I'm playing along with a bass player. And that's what I've done, is I've set up that bass and drum track. So if I'm thinking I'm playing along with a bass player, I want to be careful about how many substitutions I start to put in there. But here's the thing. What is D flat 7? D flat 7 is a substitute